All right, we're back again. Third round predictions, Eastern Conference Final, Western Conference Final. We have in the East, the Tampa Bay Lightning versus the New York Rangers. And in the West, we have the Colorado Avalanche against the Edmonton Oilers. Both these series are going to be unreal. Absolutely unreal. You got Vasilevsky, Shesterkin. What a story right there. Then you have McDavid and Draisaitl versus McKinnon and Makar and Rantanen and Landeskog. And oh wow, that's a deep team, isn't it? But hey, on the Oilers side, you also have Kane, who's a goal per game. Zach Hyman's found his game. I think it was 8 points in his last 3. And you go to the East, you got Zibanejad and Panarin, you got Stamkos and Kucherov, you got Hedman versus Fox. You got, in the Western Conference, will Mike Smith be able to play goaltender against Colorado Avalanche and face 35 shots a night? And when McKinnon's against him, and then he goes, oh, I got a breather. And next thing you know, Kadri's out there causing an absolute ruckus, messing up McDavid. Is he going to be able to handle it? Will he handle all those shots, those high-end chances? Will Kemper be able to be that starting goalie that Colorado paid a buttload of money for? We don't know. So let's do some predictions, shall we? But first, maybe a little backstory. What's happened in East? What's happened in the West? So let's get right into it. So far, my predictions so far have been all right, I would say. I got Colorado over Nashville, so that's how they won their quarters. I picked Colorado over St. Louis. That's how they got here. That's good. Games, let's not worry about that. Edmonton, I picked them over LA. They got here. I picked Calgary over Edmonton. Ooh, that was a rough one, but hey, Edmonton kicked their ass. Yeah, so they got here that way. I obviously got St. Louis, Minnesota wrong in the first round. I got Calgary over Dallas in the first round, so that's good in the West. In the East, I picked the Panthers over Washington, which was great. I picked Toronto over Tampa Bay, which was close. I picked Carolina over Boston, yes. And I picked Pittsburgh over New York, which I thought they should have done because they were up 3-1. I then picked Carolina over New York. Oops, wrong again. New York down again, this time 3-2, and they win. I did pick Tampa Bay over Florida, so that makes me feel better. So round 1, I went 5 for 8. Round 2, I went 3 for 4. Okay, so will I go 2 for 2 this one? We will see. But let's go over a little tail of the tape before I make my prediction, shall we? So with New York, you got Zibanejad. He has, 19 points in 14 games. You got Fox with 19. Let's look at this. Kopp has 12. Panarin has 11. Kreider has 11. Kreider had a brilliant game 6. Shesterkin has a 2.73 goals against average. Save percentage here, 920-something, 928, 926. But I think in the last couple games, or this series anyway, it was under 2. Right, Boo? Yeah, under 2. Maybe 1.56, I heard someone say today. He was absolutely great. On Tampa Bay's side, you got Kucherov, 15 points in 11 games. Hedman has 10. Palat has 8. Stamkos only has 8. Colton has 8. Vasilevsky, 2.29 goals against average, 2.23 goals against average, 932 save percentage. Holy crap, 932. In this, though, let's be honest. In the Toronto series, Kucherov was the big guy, and it was like Nick Paul and stuff showing up. Against Florida, everyone else just chipped in, and they won in 4 games. Tampa Bay hasn't played in a week. For New York, big guys didn't really show up against Pittsburgh until the very end, and then they did. But it was everyone else. That young line of Lafreniere, Hedl, Capo, they looked great today again. Today when I made this video, that's when the game was. Again against Carolina, Hedl on fire. I got him in my dynasty. And then obviously Shesterkin has been great. So in this battle, offenses are there, defenses are there, goaltending is where it's at. Who's going to win? I was going to say the young guy taking over the vet. Yes, Vasilevsky's a vet at 27 years old against Shesterkin, who I think is 25. 2 of the best goalies in the game right now. Who do I have? Tampa Bay. And the only reason I'm picking Tampa Bay is because at first I thought, New York, it was going to be this in this whole playoffs. It was up to their power play. They weren't going to do well 5-on-5. They've shown against Carolina they can do both. And when you give them a chance, they can score. However, Tampa Bay's penalty kill is pretty darn good. And if they can stymie the New York's power play, I don't know if New York can keep up with them from line to line. I have Tampa Bay winning this series in 6. I think there will be some very, very close games. I think it's going to be an outstanding goaltending duel. And in the end, you take the bug guy over the young guy, the veteran, Vasilevsky. They're going to the Stanley Cup final. They're going to win in 6 games, and they're going to go for the three-peat. So that's my prediction right there. Tampa Bay over New York in 6 games. When we head over to the West, you got Edmonton Oilers versus the Colorado Avalanche. You got Draisaitl and McDavid, 26 points each. You got Kane at 12 goals in 12 games. You got Hyman up there with a point per game. Nugent Hopkins was really, really good in game 4 and 5. You've got, for Colorado, you got Makar at 13 points in 10 games. McKinnon has 13 points as well. If you look on the points per game for players who have at least 30 games played in the NHL playoffs, McDavid, Draisaitl, McKinnon, and Rantanen, who has 11 points in 10 games, are all in the top 10 for point per game. They're up there with Gretzky and Lemieux. Absolutely insane. Goaltending, well, we know Mike Smith is like 2.7, Darcy Kemper 2.48. I'm going to be honest with you. The Oilers can take advantage of Darcy Kemper. You saw St. Louis do it. I would throw pucks on net. I would create traffic and make it hard for him to play. For Mike Smith, well, it's the same bloody thing. Shoot the damn puck. You can score from your own end, especially if the Oilers are going to wear those blue third kits. But honestly, you just got to shoot against both of them. And you know what? This series is going to be high-end chances. I don't expect there to be any low games. 5+ goals per game easily is my opinion. I don't think either team's going to be able to shut down their big guys. I don't think Edmonton's going to be able to shut down McKinnon and Rantanen and them. I don't necessarily think Colorado's going to be able to do the same. In games that they've played this year, I think Edmonton won all 3. Or no, they won 2 and lost 1. One was 2-1 in a shootout. They had a game where Kane got a hat trick. McDavid had 3 assists. The other game, McDavid had an assist. Draisaitl had an assist. Edmonton's had Colorado's number. I think right now it's going to be who's going to outperform who. Is it going to be McDavid versus McKinnon? Are they going to line up? Or is Colorado going to counter and go, Nazem, we don't really need you to score. Just be an absolute nuisance against Kadri or against McDavid. Hopefully Kadri doesn't get suspended doing something stupid, trying to keep up with him. No, he won't. He's learned. But I keep flip-flopping on this series. The New York one versus Tampa Bay, I had Tampa Bay, and I think they're going to win 6. I haven't frayed from that. But this, today, messaging a friend, I picked Colorado's winning this in 6. Then I listened to a few podcasts, I watched some highlights again, and I look at it and be like, wow, McDavid and Draisaitl doubled up McKinnon and Makar's points. Are they unstoppable? And I'm like, oh, Draisaitl, he has a bummed ankle right now. Mike Smith is the goalie who I don't trust. But Edmonton's coaching staff, they adapted really well after game 1 against Calgary, and then obviously won 4 straight. So then I was like, oh, maybe the Oilers will win. And I've gone full circle, and I'm back. I'm picking the Avalanche to win in 6 just on their depth. They don't have Sam Girard, but Bowen Byram came in there and he's been looking great. Hopefully concussion issues are far behind him now. And I just like the depth of Colorado, and I think a big factor is if Nazem Kadri can just slow McDavid down, get him off his game a little bit, which I think he can do. We've seen him do it with Toronto. That might be the factor. That might be the difference. I know people are going to be like, okay, it's whoever wins the battle between McKinnon and McDavid. Yes, but I think it's going to be those other players, the second and third line guys who chip in here or there, and it might not even be goals. And in my opinion, it's not going to be goals. It's going to be being a nuisance. And I'm thinking Kadri's going to play a huge part in winning for the Colorado Avalanche, or if he gets suspended, winning for the Edmonton Oilers. But hey, I'm picking Colorado in 6 games, so there we have it. I have Colorado beating Edmonton in 6 games. I have Tampa Bay beating New York Rangers in 6 games. The matchup that everyone's been picking probably for the last 3 years, Tampa Bay versus Colorado in the Stanley Cup Final. That's my prediction. Comment down below your thoughts, your predictions. I have not been good this year, so if you're cheering for Edmonton, you'll probably be happy. If you're cheering for New York, you'll probably be happy. But here we go. That's what I think is going to happen. Let me know down below your thoughts. Whew. These playoffs have been great. They have been great. Even though the Leafs lost in round 1 again. Take care.